Let's talk a little bit about betrayal. This applies to everybody. Now, I've been on both sides of this equation. I've been the betrayer and the betrayee, if those are words. Let's say that you're in a relationship and you're betrayed, or a business venture, you're betrayed, or a relative. It could be a situation where you're betrayed while a lover cheated on you, or you got cheated in business, or a relative stole money from you, or gave a false report to a bunch of other people. Those are forms of betrayal. Let's say that the person that you hurt over some time and negotiation and everything else decided, okay, you know what, I'm going to give this another try. But that's only after you have shown full remorse for your actions and have made every effort to clean up the mistake. If you cheated on them, you don't have any communication with that person anymore. You cut off whatever it is that you were doing with that extra person. You don't deal with them anymore. You don't think about them. If you had a business deal and you cheated that person out of money, y'all went ahead and arranged to make a settlement. You're making payments to owe the money or fulfill the contract, whatever the case may be. If it's a relative that stole money from you, you stole money from the relative, you gave the money back and then some, and a little bit of interest. If it's a situation where a friend, you went ahead and you spread a whole bunch of lies and gossip and rumors to a whole bunch of other people about them. You went back to the people that you told them lies to and you admitted that you were wrong. You did everything you could to try to undo the mistake, because the truth is, in life there are some mistakes that cannot be undone. But let's just say you did all that. And you went to this person and they've seen your efforts over time, and they've seen that, you finally realize how deeply you really do care about this person and you want them in your life, and they decide to go ahead and take you back. First of all, the fact that they're willing to even communicate with you, that's a form of forgiveness. Second, the fact that they even want to acknowledge they know you, that's a form of forgiveness. Third, the fact that they're willing to even give your relationship another try, that's a form of forgiveness. So before anybody in the churches and all these religious orders and everything talk about, that's not full forgiveness if they feel anything. The simple fact that they've allowed this person back in their life in any capacity, that's enough forgiveness right there that person's entitled to. Okay? So let's say that the both of you got together. Now, there are some rare cases where you can wind up having a relationship that was better than the one you had before. But in a lot of cases, if there's a second chance, you as the person who committed the sin, you're going to have to understand that you're not going to get the same level of dedication. You're not going to get the same level of loyalty. You're not going to get the same level of affection. You're not going to get the same level of adoration that you had before you committed the sin, because what you did changed their perception of you. And that's a chance that you're going to have to accept and going to have to take. And what I see in a lot of relationships going on, and this is what causes people to snap sometimes, is that you'll have somebody who betrayed someone and then moved heaven and earth to try to get back into their life and has the nerve to be arrogant about it. And will go around and say, well, you know what, you act like you don't forgive me because, you don't do so-and-so like you used to. You don't say so-and-so like you used to. Well, you know what? Before you did what you did, you used to do certain things. But now that I see what I'm dealing with, no, you're not going to get that. Or if you choose to give whatever it is you're going to give back to them, it's going to be conditions attached to it. Before, you could have been one of those people that gave them 110% and then some, would have been able to do anything for them. But once they betrayed you, especially if it's a situation where they knew that if they committed that act, that it would be a deal breaker. They tried you. But you had it in your heart because you had unresolved feelings. You can't shake them, whatever the case is, and you decide to give them just one more chance, one more. And they're going to come in like their boss, like they were before. They're not boss anymore. No, you've been demoted. You've been demoted. It's just like if a soldier go AWOL. Let's say that you're in the army or whatever the case may be, and let's say that you're a sergeant. You go out partying and drinking and carrying on. You get hooked up with the wrong woman. She put a Mickey in you, drink. You're supposed to be back on post at a certain time the next day. You don't show up for 2-3 days. Everybody's wondering where you are. When you get back on post, you don't think that you're going to get any punishment for that? You're going to get a punishment for that. You might get demoted. So it's the same thing in relationships. When you come back later on, you can't come back there talking junk. You can't. You have to be humble and accept the fact this person has allowed me back in their life, yes. But I understand, too, that there is the possibility that this person will not look at me the same way they look at me before. And I may not get the same level of attention and unconditional love as I got before. They might get it back eventually over time. They may not. But you have to understand that, and you have to keep that in mind when you first get back together with someone who you've deeply hurt. And you're going to have to understand that. But coming in all arrogant and everything, that's saying loud and clear that you weren't sorry for what you did. You have to accept the fact that this person is human. They have feelings just like you do. And also think about the fact that, hey, you know what? What if it happened to you? I bet you if you were the one that had to suffer it, you probably wouldn't even consider even taking them back. But this person chose to take you back. So you need to dial back the arrogance a little bit. Dial it back. Don't turn around and get all in your feelings when they don't do all the stuff they did for you before. Think about it. If the shoe was on the other foot, you probably wouldn't even be in the picture. You'll be out here in the street trashing them. Well, I don't deal with them anymore. I don't deal with them anymore because they did so-and-so to me. But you expect them to turn around and forgive you, and not only forgive you and take you back, but to turn around and give you the same amount of level of adoration and love and everything that you got before. Something wrong with you. You are delusional. You're delusional. You better take what you can get. It's just like going in the supermarket and you go in there for ground beef and all they have is the 7327. And if some of y'all who go to the grocery store, they have the 7327, they have the 8020, they have the 9010, and in some select places they have the 95-5. And that's basically the lean to fat ratio in the ground beef. You go in there, you want to get some 80-20, and all they have is 73-27. But if you don't get anything now, then you won't be able to make those special hamburgers that everybody loves at the cookout that you're due to bring over this afternoon. And that's the only place that's open that you can get some hamburger meat. So what you're going to do, you're going to leave the 73-27 there and don't bring anybody anything to eat at the cookout? Or you're going to take that 73-27 and take it home and doctor it up the best way you can to make some patties so you can bring something. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same idea, the same analogy. You could have had 95-5 staring you in the face, but you figured it was going to be there all the time. So you let 95-5 sit there right there in the meat department on Monday. And then when you go back on Thursday, knowing that the cookout's at 4 o'clock and here it is 2:30 and you hadn't even made the patties yet, you go back to the store and you see 95-5 is not there. It's only 73-27. What you going to do? What you going to do is crunch time. You should have picked up 95-5 back on Monday when you had the money in your pocket, but you felt it was always going to be there. So when you came back on Thursday, you were stuck with the lesser grade. You got to take what you can get. I'm just letting you know that. That's the risk that you take. So you need to decide in your mind. If you want that level of adoration and everything else, and you don't want any changes from what happened before you did the dastardly deed, then what you need to do is, if you're not sure that's going to happen, just go ahead and just end it and start fresh with somebody else, and hopefully you have some better damn sense next time. And with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all to it. Have a great day.